Hello everybody, and welcome back to our Farming Simulator 25 map guide. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Drumard Farm. But before that, this video is brought to you by Bad Habit 99 and Chasey Dog. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Drumard Farm map, you can find it at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Now let me go ahead and read you some of the description. Drumard Farm is based around a real working beef farm in the green fields of Ireland. There are two farms, Drumard Farm where cows and sheep can be found, and Drumard Arable Farm where pigs are located. The map features two working farms, one which has a grain silo, and two forest areas are located around the map. There are 36 fields, one cell area with two cell points, Drumard Grains 1 and 2, for various crops. There are seed and fertilizer fill points at Drumard Arable Farm. Beware, all hedges, fences, walls have collisions. However, there are sizable grass headlands around the fields to help with workers. There are automatic gates and lights at most farms and farm buildings. Most base game productions have been included around the map. There are custom cow barn has been added. Many sheds have been added. Placeable hedges and two wall types have also been added. Modified production points. Solid fertilizer tank will now hold lime, as well as liquid fertilizer will now also hold herbicide. Precision farming is ready on this map with a custom soil map, and we're going to be taking a look at that here in a moment. And the map has 25 collectibles from the Asian map. With that said, let's jump back over here to the map and take a look around. So we load here at Drumard Farm. This is again where sheep and cows can be located. And we have our sleep trigger located right here. Now this map was originally released back in Farm Sim 17. And it took a pretty big hiatus as it wasn't re-released until Farm Sim 25. In keeping with the original map, we have most or as much of the original buildings and deco objects as possible. As a result, we will find a few buildings like the house here, which are a bit low res. Speaking of those glowing collectibles, right there in the trash heap, well, that's where you're going to find one of them. Around the side, we do have our wardrobe trigger as well. And let's just make our way over here. We'll see the automatic gate pop up. And let's go ahead and pull up PDA. Now, as far as our crops go, we do have all the standard crops to some Farm Sim 25 available on this map. If we take a look at our farmland, you'll see we start out by owning farmland ID 254. That is going to be the main starting farm here. And that, again, is going to have cows. We also have farmland ID 253. That's going to be with our sheep. We also have farmland ID 31, 33, 32, and 27. We have farmland ID 252 as well, which is going to be an empty placeable area. And then to the north, we have the Arable Farm, which is going to have pigs. That's going to be farmland ID 249. And then we have fields 4 through 12. Now the rest of the map is going to be fields and sell points and productions. This is a smaller than standard size map, as you can see here. Now, with respect to the precision farming soil map, let's go ahead and see how that is being applied to these fields. To the north, you'll see we have lots of loamy sand, a little bit of silty clay, and a little bit of sandy loam mixed in. To the south, where we have Drumard Farm, we've got some pretty good farmland with mostly loam and a little bit of loamy sand. Fields to the east are going to be more of a mix of all the different soil types. With respect to our crop counter, we are looking at the standard FS25 crop counter available on this map. We start out with 100 goats, and then we start out with a fair number of cows of various ages, both Angus and Limousin. We do have contracts available on this map, including the new FS25 contracts of deadwood, wood transport, and stone crushing. With respect to productions, We own a BGA here at Drumard Farm. Then we have also available for us a small bakery, carpentry, cement factory, a small dairy, grain mill, oil mill, potato processor. Then we have a small preserved food factory, we have a sawmill, a small spinnery, and a small tailor. With respect to sell points, I counted up 4 unique sell points around the map. That includes the animal dealer, grain mill, the Drumard area, and a bale sell point. We do have starting vehicles if we choose to own the starting farm. Should we choose to not own the starting farm, then we will not have any starting vehicles. With respect to collectibles, again, we have those 25 glowing orbs. Take a look at our starting fleet. In our garage, we're going to find the New Holland T7 300 medium tractor and the Massey Ferguson 7S 210. We're going to find we have the Q7M front loader arms, and for the front loader, we're going to have the bale spike. We've got the Rudolph TDK 301 RP trailer and the Brantner DD 24073 2XXL trailer. We have the Amazon Cinto 4000 Super Cultivator. We have the Elo Scorpio 550 Stone Picker and the Agrimaz POV 5XL plow. For our seeding needs, we've got the Bednar Omega 006000 FL. Kind of surprised, fairly large seeder that one is. We have the Amazon ZATS 3200 and the Breedal K105 fertilizer and lime spreader. We have the Flegel PFW 18000 Max Line Plus slurry spreader and the Howie DST 16 manure spreader. For our harvesting needs, we have the Massey Ferguson MS 8570 and we have the Massey Ferguson 8570 header and header trailer. For our compaction of our silage, we have the Stego 485 Pro. For our grass work, we have the Samez Z2 840H windrower, the Ponja Faro 4010D forage wagon, the Samez P8 890 tedder, and the Samez KDF 341S front mower, and the Samez XT 390 rear mower. For our baling needs, we've got the Gouville Vario Master V140 stationary round baler. Pretty fancy there. With a Lizard MKS 8 liquid tanker, and this has been modified to also work with methane. Then we have our Farsen PF 2.24 Plus forage mixer. Now, as far as mods and DLCs go, this map does have some custom vehicles and implements. We have the FST 990 fuel tanker, and that is also set up to hold energy and methane. Then we have 2 modified liquid tankers, the MKS 8 and the MKS 32, that are also set up to hold methane and fuel. From our farm here, of course, we have our dairy. We have 50 of 738 cows already here. We have our food trough and our straw trigger. We're going to find our milk trigger there. Tell you what, these automatic gates, that is something I really do miss. That was used a lot in older versions of the game. We really don't see it implemented too much anymore. Back on the outside of our animal husbandry, we have our manure heap. We have our slurry pit. We do have a pull-through silage bunker. Our BGA, so we have our digester. And then we have our interactive icon, we have our digestate output, and our dump point for slurry, or liquid manure. We have a fuel point here. And we have a water point. We got our starting machinery. And then if we make our way through the woods here, we're going to wind our way back to the sheep pasture. And that placeable area. Now, with respect to map performance on lower end systems, I was pleasantly surprised to see that I was getting frame rates anywhere between the 60s and 90 FPS on my low-end test system, which is using AMD integrated graphics and my custom medium settings with FSR frame gen enable. So again, 60s to 90 FPS, very, very smooth gameplay for something with such a low-powered integrated graphics chip. So there we have our placeable area, 252. Then right on the other side of this tree line, we're going to find the sheep and goat pasture. Where we have already 100 goats, and we can have a total of 712 in here. We have our water, and we have our food. Then we have our spawn point for our wool or milk. Let's get a little bit of altitude here. And if I didn't already say, a lot of the things here at both of these farms are not sellable. So just be aware, kind of keeping to the trend of keeping this map as original as possible. Well, back in FS17, you didn't really have the ability to customize your farm all that much. You did have the ability to place a couple things here or there, but we didn't have the big placeable system that really came in FS19. As we make our way over here to the north, we're going to come to the Drumard Arable Farm. And from here, we have our fill points for seed, liquid fertilizer, and solid fertilizer. We also have our fuel and water points. The silo system here is a little interesting in that we have our dump point for our silo here, and we have our output pipe way around and toward the back of all these buildings. So our silo output is way out here. So there's a big underground complex, I guess, where all of this stuff is stored. Since we own both of these farms at the start, our starting machinery is kind of spread between them. Then we have our pig area here. We don't have any pigs, though. When we do decide we want to buy them, we're going to be able to have a total of 82. Then we have our food, we have our water here, and we have our straw trigger. And that is pretty much the Drumard Arable Farm. Then, of course, we own a fair bit of land around that farm. So we have these fields here, and these fields over here across the street. Now, most of the sell points are central in one specific location, kind of down here in town. It's also where we're going to find most of our productions. Let's get over here to the town entrance. And the first thing we're going to come to is our dealership. So you see where our vehicles are going to spawn here in the front. We have our service bay on the side. So over here we have, well, a collection of things going on. Zoom on in. To our left, we're going to find the preserved food factory. To our right, we're going to find the tailor. So our preserved food factory is here at the blue house. And the tailor is here at, well, I don't know what you call that color house, but that's the tailor. Just around the back of the church, we're going to find the farmer kiosk sell point. Now, good luck. Good luck getting back in here with all these parked cars. You're going to need something pretty small to get back into here. We have our bakery then. Here behind this brick building. More of those glowing orbs. Here we have the Drumard sell point 1 and 2. So you can see unload sell point 2, what is accepted, and unload sell point 1, what is accepted. We have our bale sell point. We have a manure purchase point. We have a slurry purchase point. And then we have our animal dealer. So we have our animal dealer sell point there, and our animal dealer buy point for our animals right here. On the other side of our Drumard sell point, we're going to find some more productions. We have our carpentry. We have our potato processor. Our oil mill, our cement factory, and our grain mill. If we zoom out a little bit, we're going to find we have our dairy located right behind basically our cow pasture. We have our dairy located right here. We have our main farm. And then we have another production right here beside the main farm. And that's going to be Farmland ID 246. Well, let's just run over here and hit the trigger for our spinnery. We already talked about the BGA, which is located there at the main starting farm. And then the last production we're going to talk about is over here at Farmland ID 247. It's a quick run across the map, because again, we're talking about a pretty small map here. So we have our sawmill. And guys, that is Drumard Farm. Kind of a nostalgia blast from the past for anyone who's played Farm Sim 17. And if you haven't played Farm Sim 17, well then maybe now is your time to experience a classic and much beloved map. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And until next time, happy farming.